All right, we've got some stuff to sort out in my team. We've also got the little bit of chat around the private group team as well. So in my squad, I'll be trading Mr. Fletcher Sharp for Jacob Kiraz. That's pretty simple. Most people are doing it. And look at this. Can't make it happen. -6. So I will have to be making another trade. And Siwa Wong is the other guy on that list that will be moving on. And I just think this week, given I'm not really sure on the position of wing fullback and also centre, I think at the moment, I'm just going to lock and load with Latu Fainu. So at 298k, actually leaves me with plenty of cabbage in the bank there at 324. And, is that right? I can't even do it. Boring. All right. Reset. Siwa Wong, he's coming out to Latu, and then we'll sort it all out from there. So Latu locked in. This is why you just do it beforehand, Jamie, you silly bugger. And then in for Kiraz. So the reason I'm doing that, as I said, is just because I'm not too sure on the wing fullback and the centre position. There's a couple of guys I want, and I was thinking about doing the 3 trades this week potentially. But when I look at guys I might look to trade out, they're all players that are available this week, and I'll just use them as a scorer anyway. And if I was to do looping anyway, I'm not going to sell Nafahu White. We just got news that Victor Radley looks like he'll miss about a month of footy. Campbell, yes, misses 2 weeks, but he's not the correct person that you'd want to sell. Savala I need for next week and don't really want to move on from him. So I think the point here is just to play the 17 this week that I do have, and then use the 324k that I do have to make some moves over the next few weeks. And now Yongi is someone that I'm going to look to move on from eventually. We do need to select, if we don't have a large amount of injuries, if Kolomatongi plays Origin or doesn't play Origin, we can make decisions around that. I do have 2 guys that are available mid or edge that are extra right now, so likely I'll be selling someone like a Hosking, could be an Aitken type player, the guys that aren't the clear top tier guns for, and not needing them for round 18. I could use one of them, maybe with Nyongi, to go to Drinkwater, Hopewade, Pappenhausen, what would have been a Howarth, or go to a Jed Stewart or something like that if I wanted to go cheap. But right now, bringing in Fainu there with having King Tongia, I've got the 2 cheaper halves for round 18. I'm going to look to loop between those guys. So King Tonga actually plays first in the week next week in 18. And then the other 2 play each other in Savala and Fainu there. So I'll just basically have to see how things go for King Tonga. And if it's not great, then I'll just play the other 2 straight up. With Kiraz coming in, I've got Kiraz, Garrick, and Teddy, which, 2 of them can be moved up to centres as well. So I will need 1 centre and or 1 wing fullback next week. 2 of 1, 1 and 1, or 2 of the wing fullbacks. And then the rest of the positions are taken up with a couple extras in mid and edge, and then the 1 extra in half that I can do some looping with as well. So 6 trades left following this round. There'll be 4 at least minimum used, to get down to 2 or 3. So it'll be down to 3 or down to 4. Hopefully it doesn't get down to 2 with a couple of injuries to relevant round 18 scorers that I'd need, like Tavanga and these types of guys, right? That become a bit more important with, it's really mainly just him, because I could lose 1 of the mid or the edges and that'd be fine, even 2 potentially. Actually, it'd be worse if I lost 1 of my wing fullbacks or centre. That's where it would hurt. One of the halves I'd survive. So, but at worst I go down to 2 trades left following next week, and then I would have 2 left for round 19 before we got the extras, and we don't want to have to use them all. My goal would be to go from 6 to 4 next week, and then probably use 2 more in round 19 just to shore up a few positions. And I think I'm 1 short with the trades that I'm currently looking to make this week. I'd be 1 short in round 19. I think it's actually a mid or an edge with Aitken, Kolomatangi, Tapane, and Hosking, all guys that are in my side that miss out on 19. So these are the things that I'm thinking about this week, guys. Looking ahead at round 19, And then looking ahead as well at the cash remaining. So if I was, for example, to move on from a Hosking and a Yongi next week, I could buy two guys at a similar price. If I went Hosking to Drinkwater, hopefully that, nets me sort of 20 or 30K, puts me to, let's say, 350. And then Yongi could go to Pappenhausen if I wanted to, or could go to a cheaper guy just to cover. We'll see how things play out. But I could spend 100,000 there. Let's just say I go up to Pappenhausen. I'd still have a couple 100K for the following week to then move on from one of those other guys there that, I didn't really exactly need or want. Like if Aiken seems to struggle a little bit, then we can move on from him. Or Tapane, if we want to do some upgrades in round 19, we could use him as an upgrade to Payne Haas or to Isaiah Yeo, that type of stuff. There probably will be another injury somewhere. To the rest of the side, we've got Jazz Tavanga, who's an easy sell come round 19 as well. And we'll work out if we do want an extra hooker. If injuries do come about to an Aaron Clark or something like that, then we have Watson and we have Grant that could play, that we could plug and play for those weeks there. So in round 17 this week, I'm not expecting the world. I'm hoping to get into the top 1,500 or 1,400 would be very ideal if we can get to that. Hopefully pass a few of the guys that are low on trades or down to zero, which there are a few, as we've seen in the the YAFSS.com. And that would be the goal. And then if not, we kind of hold steady 1,400, 1,500, 1,600, and then guys have used the majority of their trades this week, and we can build in round 18 and 19, get somewhere in near the 1,000 mark with the extra trades that we've survived with, and then use a couple more to build myself into a really good position for round 20. And if I'm like 800th or 700th from there, then I can push with those extra few and then save a few for the necessary upgrades. But I've got the ultimate 13 that I'd want, and I'm pretty close to having sort of a really strong, I think I'm about 12 of guys that I think that are in the best 25 to 27, 28 players in the game that we'd want. So there are a few more that I would like, and you can see them at the top of the list in Payne Haas, in Yo, potentially in Isaiah Katoa, Latrell Mitchell, these types of guys here. We'll fight and force our way into getting at least 3 or 4 of those guys would be ideal, and then hopefully guys like Couchman and or Tarpanay, Kolomatangi can all do a job, not get injured, and happy days from there. Now with the Panthers playing tonight, if Cleary's all good to go, I'll just throw the vice captaincy on him. We'll stick it with Terrell May for captain. I don't want to muck around with that. I also don't have Payne Haas. So basically, I think I can get through this week and get away with it with some decent scoring. If Tavanga plays near 50 minutes, I think we'll be fine. Fainu and also King Tonga, we need them to score somewhere near what they have recently, the 40-odd, the mid-30s. That would be fine for both those guys. And then if we can get some solid scores out of a Yongi or a Hines as my sort of point of difference, or Ewan Aiken type players, then I think we can go pretty solidly. Now the difference in this team compared to the private group team, which of course didn't come up, of course, there it is, the 9 trades left. So just use the one in this one here, and that is Fletcher Sharp to Karaz, actually 1K in the bank, and leaves us with 9. So in this team right here, we do have a decent collection of players for next week. We're bang on perfect in centre and wing fullback if we stick with Purdue. And up top we've got May, Couch, Tarpanay for next week, Kolomatangi, Aiken. So we're set up there. We've got Tavanga, we have Fogarty, we have Savala. So this team is well set for round 18, and I think this is a perfect candidate of a squad sitting at 4,118 to try and go nuts in round 19 and sell a few of these guys that we are sitting with that missed 19 in the South boys, in the Raiders boys, Hosking, Taps. We've got Fogs in there. A couple of guys in the mid-range that we can easily move on from in Purdue, in Tavanga by that point, along with the Hosking or something like that. So to send 3 or 4 trades in round 19 and 20 with the extras that we've accumulated and kept, I think that this team can really push into the sort of top 1.5K, 2,000 by round 19, 20. And then, be in the fight to try and catch up to my side. I definitely think, sitting there with 3 trades more now and not needing to trade next week, I think it's a great position, and hopefully it's a spot that we can really improve upon. So that's what I'm looking at there. And then in Supercoach for trades, guys, I'm looking to hold this week, so no need to jump over to that one. So I think we leave this one there. Just pretty simple on strategy. We're just building some cash, bringing in a guy in Fainu that I think can score pretty decent and be one of those cash downs that actually stays in a team barring injury, which it's hard to say. There's not too many of those guys around that can regularly do that. So thanks so much for joining us for this one, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.